I don't know who you are.
You don't know who I am. It's me, silly Colt. You know, who's number one?
I don't know what you want.
What I want. What I want is to play hide and go seek, Liam. You tell me every Tuesday you're gonna play, and then you just act like you totally forgot. I'll tell you what, dude, a good memory is not part of your skill set.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Yeah, well, I hope one of those skills is finding, because you're never gonna find me.
I will not look for you. I will not pursue you.
But you have to look for me. That's how you play the game. I hide, you seek.
I will look for you.
Well, good, Liam. That's the spirit.
I will find you.
No, you won't. No, you won't, because I'm a really good hider.
I will find you. And I will kill you.
What? Dude, what? Liam, it's just a game. Liam, it's... Liam? 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 It's just a game. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the show. It is week number 7 right here on Who's Number One. A good week. It is Halloween week here for us in the sport of cycling. I mean, I guess it's Halloween week for everybody, but specifically for us here in the sport of cyclocross. And we had some great racing this past weekend. We had the Cross Crusades out in Bend, Oregon at the Deschutes Brewery Cup out there. We had some good ACA racing in Colorado. We had the World Cup round number 2 over in the Czech Republic. And of course, the lone UCI racing here in the United States, the Gateway Cross Cup. With no further ado, let's get down to business. Your women's rankings this week. Number 15 this week, and back on the rankings is your Canadian rider, Michael Dick. We haven't seen her here in the US in a few weeks, more than a month now, but she is back. She was at Gateway Cross Cup. She looked very strong inside the top 5. Welcome back to the list. Number 10 this week, making her debut on the rankings, coming out of nowhere, essentially, is the road rider Amanda Miller. Takes a win and a second place at the Gateway Cross Cup. Not sure if this was just a one-off thing, if we're going to see more cross from her. Meanwhile, across the pond, we have Arlie Kemmerer this week. In number 8, another huge World Cup ride, going top 15. And then number 6 this week is Katie Antonou. I feel like I keep saying this over and over again every weekend, but she keeps getting better and better and better. But as long as she keeps getting better every single weekend, I'm going to keep saying it. She's better and better, and then next week she'll be better next weekend, and the next weekend she'll be better and better. She'll be better. Number 5 this week is Meredith Miller. Forget about the high fives this week, Meredith. Just bring it in. I could literally kiss you right now. That was such an awesome ride. We said last week, we're just going to forget about World Cup number 1. It did not happen. You came out this week, 6th freaking place at the World Cup. Awesome ride. Super awesome ride. I am so proud of you. Hot for you? Moving on to number 3 this week is Elle Anderson. Came back from her break, from her illness, from her crashes out in Boulder. This was the race. St. Louis. How is she going to do? I went right to the results on Saturday, saw 4th place, and I thought, oh God, no. That was it. She was a one-hit wonder. She did it for a couple weeks, and now we're going to see the real Elle Anderson. She's going to be 4th place. Of course, then I read the race report and saw that she flatted out and had some more mechanical issues. So I recalibrated my expectations. We went back into Sunday, and she did it all over again. She is the real deal. She won again on Sunday in commanding fashion. Welcome back to the top, Elle. These next 3 weeks going to be very exciting. And your number 1 rider again this week, this time taking her first World Cup win of the season, is your national champion, Katie Compton. Moving on to your men's rankings this week in number... What are we going to talk about? Didn't race. All right, if we're going to talk about guys that didn't race, we might as well talk about a guy who's not even ranked, and that would be Jeremy Duren. You know, we talked about last week Stephen Hyde and the disaster of a weekend that he had in Rochester. We didn't even have time. I didn't have the energy to talk about the train wreck that was Jeremy Duren in Rochester last week. And dude couldn't even crack the top 10 at the Rochester UCI races. I mean, maybe on the Jam Fund that would fly, but you got a pro contract now, dude. You literally drove to that race in your very own team car. I mean, Raphael Gagne won both days. He doesn't even have a pro contract for cyclocross. Cameron Dodge was 2nd place on Sunday. You were 13th. You should have crossed the finish line and given him the keys to your team car. And the worst part is you probably could have been top 5. I mean, you had the legs to do it. If you had used even the slightest, tiniest ounce of race tactics or common sense and not, I mean, if you guys have never seen, here's a typical Jeremy Duren race for you. Of course, then after the race, he's back, in the team tents, all like, that might be a little too much. Whatever, that guy. Moving on to your top 20 this week for the men. Number 14, Cody freaking Kaiser. The kid Kaiser comes out and does huge things in St. Louis. 4th place on Saturday, backs it up with a 3rd place podium ride for the former junior national champion. Number 10 this week for your former U23 national champion is Zach McDonald, continuing his rise to the top with 2 second place rides at the Gateway Cross Cup. Number 4 this week is Tim Johnson. Well, I don't know. I think he's ranked number 4. I actually don't know where he's ranked. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I don't actually know where he is. He was in Boulder 3 weeks ago. That was 3 weeks ago. It's been 2 weekends. We haven't seen him race. I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen him. I mean, I don't mean to cause alarm, but he's getting up there. He could have just wandered off or something. Whatever. He's scheduled to be in Cincinnati, so hopefully we'll see him there. Just for my own peace of mind, if anyone has seen Tim Johnson or heard from him, can you just call the number here on your screen, and we would all be very appreciative. So, and your number 3 rider we might as well bring them all in here. Your number 3 rider, your number 2 rider, presented by Cymet, and your number 1 rider this week. We have Powers, Cymet, Trebone, Cymet, and Bairden. So Bairden, Cymet, Powers, Trebone, Cymet, and Bairden. These guys, all 3 of them have been very good this year. Powers clearly been unbeatable all Cymet season long, but just hasn't even raced these last 2 Cymet weekends. Then we got Ben Bairden, who Cymet's been really strong. Just Cymet won 2 races in St. Louis this past Cymet weekend. And then we got Cymet Trebone out in Cymet, Oregon, who's doing the Cross Crusades. He's crushing it out Cymet there. Unbeatable. So I wouldn't quite say I could Cymet throw their names in a hat and just pick them out Cymet, but it's been close. So Cymet, do we give Ben Bairden the benefit of the doubt because he raced the UCI races and he Cymet won them? Or do we give Trebone the benefit of the doubt because Cymet, he's been good Cymet, he's actually beat Powers in a Cymet race? Or do we just give it to Powers, who Cymet has been Cymet unbeatable all season long? I think what we are going to do this weekend is Cymet Trebone in 3rd. Number 2, presented by Cymet, will be Jeremy Powers and Ben Bairden. You did it, my friend. You went out Cymet, you raced the big races. You went to the UCI races, you won 2 of them, you deserve it, man. This is your Cymet week on the top spot, number 1, your men's rankings this week. All right, you guys, that is a wrap on week number 7 right here on Who's Number 1. It's been a good week, but we have an even better week coming up for you guys. You guys like cyclocross, right? 1 day of racing, that's pretty cool, right? 2 days, I mean, that's the standard, of course. This weekend, we have 3 days in Cincinnati for the Cincy 3. It is going to be incredible. BTB TV will be on the scene, bringing you all the shows Monday through Friday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Colt McElwain, and those down there, that's a Facebook button, and that's a Twitter button. And it is your responsibility as viewers of this show and fans of this sport to click those buttons. The show is going to keep going until you click those. Just click the buttons. Please click the buttons. Why does nobody click the buttons?